Welcome to the Happiness Matters podcast, where we'll explore happiness at work and show you how to coach yourself to be happier there and more successful too, no matter what.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the last episode of 2019 with me, Julia Seal. This is our Christmas episode, our goodbye to 2019 episode, and the point we've been working towards in coaching your unhappiness, your negative emotions, the 8th step. Today's episode is very rich, a very doable step-by-step process to feel better, packed with Christmas gifts for you. Whether you're celebrating Christmas or not, I hope this is a powerful step in your happiness and success in life, no matter what. Last week was also a fun episode, and thank you to everyone for your comments and feedback. We looked into the call to grow ourselves, to evolve ourselves, leveling up to our next best level of our mindset, our habits and daily routines, our associations and relationships, and our actions, the real opportunity behind those negative emotions. Now we're going to spend this last episode in 2019 discovering how to actually process these negative emotions. It's such perfect timing. Often in the year-end silly season, we do get more fraught, and what we believe should be a happy, fun time is instead laced with our difficult negative emotions. If you have just found the podcast, we've started this mini coaching journey in episode 1.17. You can download an overview of this negative emotions coaching journey to help you navigate the coaching. And while you're there, please also download all the free coaching tools I've created for you already. You'll find all of this on our website, Happiness-Matters.coach. What you'll also find there is a big yellow button called Coach with Julia. This takes you through to my calendar where you can book coaching with me. And lastly, before we jump in, the next episode and the first of 2020 is a Q&A session about today's topic. We'll look at your experiences over the Christmas and New Year period. So also on the website, you'll see a menu item called Ask Julia, and you can post your questions and comments there for me. So Happiness Matters is all about evolving ourselves as individuals, evolving our definitions of happiness and success no matter what, and evolving ourselves to our next best version. We cannot move forward in our self-growth or access our own wisdom, our happiness wisdom, when our negative emotions are dominating our everyday. We don't want to feel the negative emotions in our brains or in our bodies, quite honestly. We are motivated by our survival instinct, spending our time resisting and avoiding any pain and discomfort, and always chasing pleasure. So we need to evolve the way we feel and develop the skills to process our pain and our unhappiness. So the skills to allow our emotions instead. Since I'm pottering in my vegetable garden later, here's a thought from British philosopher and author Alain de Botton in his book, The Consolations of Philosophy, where he explores Nietzsche's view on negative emotions from a gardener's perspective. At their roots, plants can be odd and unpleasant. But a person with knowledge and faith in their potential will lead them to bear beautiful flowers and fruit. Just as in life, at root level, there may be difficult emotions and situations, which can nevertheless result, through careful cultivation, in the greatest achievements and joys. Most of us fail to recognize the debt we owe to these shoots of difficulty. We're liable to think that anxiety and envy have nothing legitimate to teach us, and so remove them like emotional weeds. To cut off every negative root would simply mean choking off positive elements that might arise from it further up the stem of the plant. We should not feel embarrassed by our difficulties, only by our failure to grow anything beautiful from them. Overall, if you look at Happiness Matters, it's an 8-pillar program. And then within Series 1, we're on this mini coaching journey on your negative emotions. We're on the 8th step of this. Everything we've done to date brings us to this point. The how to process your negative emotions, the how to evolve yourself emotionally, and the development of your emotional courage. And then this mini process itself today is also 8 steps. So there's a lot of 8s for you, and hopefully that's easy for you to remember. Okay, so what's with the number 8? I can hear you saying, what is so special about 8? Well, let's think about it. Well, spiders have 8 legs, and I'm looking at one right now as I record this. And not so much fun. Very worrying at the moment, actually. Stage 8 is the highest level in the load shedding we're experiencing in South Africa. And load shedding is when our national electricity provider switches off power across the country in rolling blackouts. A terrible state of affairs that's playing havoc with our economy and is a result of a decade of corruption and appalling management. So stage 8 means each area of the country will have no electricity for 12 hours a day. Can you imagine what it's like running a business? Even our gold mines are shutting down, and our emergency services are scrabbling to find private funds to pay for diesel generators. So what else about 8? Well, there are 8 planets in our solar system after poor Pluto got demoted in 2006. Our 8th tooth in each quadrant of our mouths is called the wisdom tooth. And since Thomas did so well in his physics and chemistry exams this year, this one's for him. 8 is the atomic number of oxygen. There are 8 bits in a bite, and that biting is nothing to do with your teeth. In music, and I'm giving you a hint about my own personal impossible goal of 2020, the 8th note is called a quaver. Since it's Christmas month, 8 maids a-milking is the gift on the 8th day of Christmas in the English carol 8 Days a Week was a number 1 single for the Beatles back in 1964. Actually, the 8th day in Christianity refers to the restful day, after the 7th day of creation, as described by the early Christian fathers. And in that wonderful prayer by St. Francis of Assisi, there are 8 requests, like, where there is hatred, let me sow love, and where there is sadness, joy. In Sanskrit, it's the number of wealth and abundance, ashta. And I practice Ashtanga yoga every day, otherwise known as the 8 limbs of yoga described by Patanjali in the Yoga Sutras. In China, 8 is an auspicious number, so much so that in Beijing, the 2000 Olympics was kicked off on the 8th of the 8th of the 8th at 8 seconds, 8 minutes past the 8th hour in the evening. That took me a while to get that one right. And in Buddhism, Buddha's teachings about the 4 noble truths branches into the 8th-fold path. So just some fun facts today to help 8 stick in your mind for our coaching. And of course, for my team's next victory at tonight's trivia pub quiz. What I like about 8 in particular. And no, I wasn't born in the 8th month, although both my parents were. I'm a Pisces if you're interested. And no, I'm not an Enneagram 8, the active controller. I'm Enneagram 4, the intense creative. What I like about 8 is its shape. And yes, its links to happiness and what we're doing here on Happiness Matters. 8-sided shapes make octagons, the shape of a stop sign. Happiness Matters is about stopping where we are, stopping our lives on autopilot and choosing a conscious and intentional crafted life going forward. Lying on its side, 8 is the infinity sign. Happiness no matter what, the promise we make to you in this coaching journey together. Interestingly, 8 and the infinity sign don't actually originate from the same place. Infinity comes from the Roman numeral for 1000 and was first used by mathematicians in the 1600s to mean a quantity with no end, or a quantity larger than any number. The 8 glyph itself, like all our Arabic numerals 1 to 9, originated from the Indian Brahmi numbers in about 3 BC. It first looked like half the letter H. I'll post a graphic on how it's actually evolved into the glyph that we know today. So interesting. The shape of 8 talks to balance, which speaks to our happiness-wisdom concept, emotional balance, the yin-yang of life, and the 50-50 ratio of all our lives. Actually, you can even see the 8 shape within the yin-yang symbol. More esoteric meanings include 8 as the karmic equalizer. You will reap what you've sown. In Happiness Matters, your thoughts create your feelings motivate your actions give you the results that you have in your life. So the think, feel, act cycle is at the heart of everything we create and experience in life. 8, as depicting the balance between the material and immaterial worlds. It's both spiritual and material, both the ultimate and the relative. And lastly, 8 as the symbol of perfection, perfect rhythm, regeneration, resurrection, empowerment, and harmony. Since this is our 8th step in coaching your negative emotions, I've created the step-by-step how to process your negative emotions as 8 steps too. Firstly, I want to remind you what you already have in your self-coaching toolbox. You're not going into this process unequipped. You're actually already practicing self-coaching skills that will serve you here, and you've picked these up through all our past podcast episodes. The original Series 1 of Coaching, Defining and Assessing Your Version of Happiness, where we looked at your point A to point B journey. Various cognitive tools from the mini coaching series, which introduced a whole range of concepts, all designed to increase your awareness of you and your negative emotions, offering you other perspectives, such as downloading your thoughts out of your brain so you can look at them, the difference between feelings, moods, and sensations, and the difference between resisting, reacting, and allowing feelings. Then there's the happiness wisdom concepts along the way, your emotional repertoire, emotional agility, and the happiness paradox. So much already. And even more, you have the in-the-moment tool for very strong emotions. 3 long, strong breaths, which you'll have been practicing for about 3 weeks already. Now, this is the actual process for allowing your emotions, for processing negative emotions. And I say negative emotions, unhappiness, but you can use it to tap into your feelings of happiness as well, to really feel them both at a thought level and at a sensation or somatic level. That's fun work. Happy work. So step by step, here we go. Step 1, sit somewhere quietly. There is nothing dramatic about allowing your emotions, no matter how strong they are. And you don't need to worry that you're suddenly going to explode or run around madly causing havoc. Just sit somewhere quietly and set your intention with a thought like, I'm learning to process my negative emotions, my unhappiness, my... Insert the specific emotion that you've chosen to work with. Anger, frustration, sadness, loneliness, boredom. Call up the emotion in your mind and let yourself be awash in it. Let the feeling arise. Let all the sensations that come with it also arise. Let it be what it is in your body. Hot, heavy, restless, buzzy, breathless. And your body will want to resist these sensations. But keep telling yourself that you are just accepting these sensations. You are learning how to process your emotions. If it's very painful and you want to stop, to resist, to react, just tell yourself, I am learning to feel what the feeling of X is for me. Now just start describing to yourself what you're experiencing and where you are experiencing it. This is the work of somatic coaching that brings you to a point of intense awareness of what is happening in your body. Exactly, the vibrational effects of your thoughts and feelings. So step 3, pay attention to your breath. What's happening exactly with your breath? Step 4, pay attention to your stomach. What's happening in your stomach area? Step 5, where else are there sensations related to this feeling inside your body? Is there tightness in your head or jaw, urges to get up and move? Is your heart pumping wildly? Now, can you describe it in even more detail? Step 6, is it hot or cold? Loose or tight? Soft, hard, or fast, slow? Step 7, what color is it? How does it smell? How does it sound? And step 8, remind yourself again and again through this process, I am learning to feel what the feeling of X is for me. I can feel it. Remember to not judge yourself for this process. Don't even judge the process. And don't tell yourself anything, I should have. Just feel your body soften and relax as the feeling actually passes through you and is processed. And this is it. Our next session early in the new year will answer any questions you have on this process. For now, here are some ideas. Make time to process. It's not difficult, but when you're learning how to do it, it's easier to have a few moments to yourself. I can do it in my car sometimes, but other times I need to take time in my garden to sit still and be quiet. Some of my clients do it during working hours, taking a few extra moments in the bathroom, at the coffee machine, drinking a glass of water. And as you get more proficient, you can practice it throughout your day, even in the split-second moments before switching tasks, before you pick up a ringing phone or in the middle of a conversation. In setting your intention, you are learning a new skill. You are practicing a new coaching tool. Can you soften? Can you be open? Can you be curious? Yesterday in South Africa, 16th of December, it was Reconciliation Day. It's a public holiday that in years before was a commemoration of the Battle of Blood River, a memorable fight between 470 Voortrekkers and 15,000 Zulus back in 1863, when apparently the waters of the Ngome River were red with blood. And now it's a day of pulling together as a nation, a day to build connections, a day to honestly acknowledge the pain of the past with a willingness to walk together into the future. Can you look on coaching your negative emotions with the same spirit of reconciliation, with willingness to listen and willingness to meet yourself halfway? Listen to episode 1.20, where I talk about emotional intelligence and the differences between emotions, feelings, sensations, and moods. This will help bring you even further awareness to what you're experiencing. At any moment during the process, you think it's too difficult, or if you find yourself getting distracted by a flood of more thoughts or the story of the situation, keep choosing my coaching tool, 3 long, strong breaths. This tool will settle you down and you can start the process again. Remember that you've not felt these feelings ever before, so your survival brain really doesn't want to. It's trying hard to protect you. So this coaching tool calms your survival primitive brain and gives you the space to do this work. Then at the end or later in the day, even tomorrow, you can ask yourself some coaching questions around the experience. Here are just 3 to get you started. 3 that will help you separate and better identify the elements that make up your experience. When do I usually notice I'm feeling it? What kind of circumstance am I in when I notice this feeling? Am I aware of any of my thoughts when I notice it? What is the vibrational pattern that tells me this feeling is it? What is the somatic experience of it? To take it even further, ask yourself any of the questions posed in earlier sessions. What happiness wisdom concepts from previous episodes might help me now? What about my emotional repertoire, my lion-hearted courage, or my emotional intelligence can expand this experience for me now? What about the idea of evolving myself? And this, my dear friends, is it. 8 steps to feel better. 8 steps to set the context and expand possibility for you as preparation for this process. Those 8 episodes that started back at 1.17, and then today, these 8 steps to walk you through as you coach yourself in the moment of your unhappiness. There really is no better time to do this work together. This is my Christmas and my end 2019 gift for you. I hope so much that it will help you navigate the holiday period with more ease, knowing that you can allow any feeling without resisting or reacting to it, trusting that you now have the skill to really process any and all feelings. Remember, if you're willing to feel everything, you can do anything. Many of you listening will be celebrating Christmas, and of course, many of you will not be. That's the joy of podcasting. It's worldwide. So special. For us, we're planning a quiet Christmas at home in Cape Town, with lots of sea swims, walks in the mountains with the dogs, and time together. It's our last year of having a child in the house at Christmas. Thomas turns 18 next year. Although he's hardly a child, he's well over 6 foot and taller than his dad. And of course, I'm spending as much time as possible with my darling mother, who is not well. But we will be indulging in our year-end favorites, gammon, and I put links to our 3 favorite recipes in the show notes, mince pies with my dad's Brandy butter, wine farm Christmas carols, seeing Table Mountain lit up with spotlights, homemade crackers, knock-knock jokes, and hiking up Signal Hill to watch New Year's fireworks, sparkling wine, love, and friendship. I wish you all a very, very, very special end-of-year holiday season. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy your feelings, all of them. And before we go, I'm asking you for a Christmas end-of-year favor. Please share this podcast with your friends and family. Anyone who might enjoy learning to coach themselves on a happiness journey with me. We want to reach 100,000 people in 2020. Just imagine 100,000 people crafting purposeful and intentional lives at work and at home. And then please leave us a review so that others can find the podcast. And the best way to do this is directly on the Apple Podcast Player, the app on your phone, if you're an Apple user, and in iTunes if you're an Android user or on a Windows PC. Thank you so much. And so, bye for now, or 8, ba in Mandarin. See you all in 2020.
Thanks for joining us on this Happiness Matters podcast. Do join us again here next week on Tuesday. You can subscribe to this series at Apple Podcasts on iTunes, or you can sign up for it on our website, Happiness-Matters.coach. That's Happiness-Matters.coach. COACH. Also, you can join our conversation on Facebook by following us there. Our Facebook page is also Happiness-Matters.coach.